What's up, design family, and welcome to another episode of FittDesign TV. On today's episode, I'll be running you guys through the top 4 challenges that I see most startup online sportswear, activewear, gymwear brands are facing. From my own experience setting up my own brand and as a designer for a variety of different online brands, I'll be running you guys through these top 4 challenges and give you guys my tips and tricks on how to overcome these challenges. Hey guys, and welcome to FittDesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. In order to understand the main challenge for an online business, we have to understand what an online business is. An online business is essentially an organization that sells goods, products, or services on an online format, therefore over the internet. So that's become the main way of doing business over the last 10 years, and we've seen a lot of small businesses come into this space and steal market share away from larger businesses. If you think like Gymshark and Athlete, these are relatively young brands that have come in and been able to steal away small parts of market share from brands like Nike, Lululemon, Adidas. Because the industry is so large and the overall market is so large, this presents a great deal of opportunity. However, opportunity doesn't come without its challenges, especially as more people come into this space. So what are some of the main challenges that you can face as a sportswear brand coming up, establishing yourself online? The first is a lack of a physical presence. This actually seeps into a lot of the different points that I'm going to talk about today. But with a retail store, you have a physical location that people come in, they can try out the garments, they can size them up, they can feel the fabrics, they can feel the garment construction, and you have to do a lot less to communicate these items. So there's a lack of physical or tangible communication with an e-commerce business. Because you're setting up your store online, people can only see these pictures. So how do you communicate the sizing, the materials, the workmanship of your brand? The most important thing is to have a great website that is uncluttered, easy to follow, with a ton of different images that are organized in a way that makes sense. So great photography can be a way to entice your customers from a marketing perspective to visit your website, and how you want to keep them and how you want them to buy is how you communicate your product. You communicate your product through a variety of different means. However, when it comes to online, you're only going to have 2 main ways of doing that. One is through copy, aka text, and second is through visuals. Your text needs to outline what the product is, how it functions, what are the key features, and what makes you special. Your visuals have to do a good job at portraying the product, giving the viewer an idea of the materials, the quality of the construction, the finishes of the fabric, and then your mix of visuals and copy have to give sizing info and have to give an overall understanding of how these garments fit. So we'll look at materials first. I highly recommend a mix of copy and visuals. Getting a good camera can be a key way to actually showcase your products in a good and an overall attractive way. Make sure that your colors are being represented correctly, that you're aligning in neutral environments. You're not using a light that is too cool or using a light that is too warm. And you're doing the necessary revisions in Photoshop and Lightroom to portray the colors in the right way. The last thing you want to do is have a beautiful turquoise color and then have that be represented incorrectly on your website. So this can be a major issue that brands face. The second thing is materials. A good copy of the materials, so text of the materials describing the weight, the thickness, the finishes, the touch, and the feel can go a long way towards showing your customers what makes your product special. And when it comes to sizing, this is a major issue in the sense that people can feel uncomfortable buying from brands that they don't know because they don't know how these garments are going to fit. So if you just give generic sizing info like small, medium, large, without any idea of how these garments are going to fit, you're going to leave a lot of room for people to misinterpret these goods. That can lead to people not buying from you because they're not comfortable, going for the purchase or people with a high return rate because there's a misunderstanding of the sizing. Also understand that different parts of the world size differently. Chinese sizing is very different from US sizing. US sizing typically runs large versus Chinese sizing runs around a size and a half less, versus European sizing, which also tends to run in the middle between US, Chinese sizing. So this is a very key component that you have to overcome. The way that we recommend giving key sizing information is by including sizing charts for each of your different types of products. Include a sizing chart for your t-shirts, for your long sleeves, for your outerwear, aka hoodies, jackets, for your leggings, or your bottoms, your joggers, your leggings, so on and so forth. The types of information that you want to provide is essentially a sizing chart. For bottoms, I'd highly look at your waist circumference. Make sure that the measurements that you're asking for are all when measured on. Ask people to get a measuring tape or a tailor tape and provide instructions on where you want to measure. Because the idea of a waist is very subjective, right? Someone can think that their waist is at their hip line, someone can think that their waist is at their navel. At the end of the day, the more specific you are, the better. You can instruct people that their waist is here considered around 2 inches above the belly button line, and that way you're getting a more accurate and consistent measurement across your customers. The whole point here is to reduce the lack or the transparency of the information that you're providing and allow people to make a more educated decision on how certain things fit. We also recommend providing sizing guide videos. Key brands like Gymshark and Athlete do this. They use their athletes and different sizes of the athletes to show how certain leggings fit. And they can even show the same size legging, how it fits on 2 different body types. Yes, this is intensive in the sense that you may need many different models. However, your customers will appreciate this and they'll get a much better idea of how this garment fits. We highly recommend measuring your model accurately and providing those measurements in the video, explaining what size this model is wearing and what their key measurements are, the weight and other key measurements like the bust, the waist, the hips, and potentially the inseam, so on and so forth, to give your customers a better idea of how certain garments fit. We also recommend using what is known as a size meter. Let's face it, no sizing is perfect, and sometimes what is considered a medium for you may run a little bit large or a little bit small depending on a certain manufacturing run. Therefore, before you launch, test out the product. See how it fits consistently on a model that you know is a size medium for you and a size medium universally, and see how this garment is fitting. If it runs a little large, be transparent. Tell your customers about this. Use a size meter that shows that this thing doesn't run true to size, it runs a little bit large or a little bit small. Obviously, if you're getting a very inaccurate sizing meter, this is something you may have to discuss with your production partner. However, if you're getting a little bit of variety or variance, this is fine. This is just something that we highly recommend you communicate to your customers. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're providing your customers with a key customer service experience. And this actually leads us on to point number 2, is how do you distinguish yourself in a very saturated market? We've mentioned brands like Athlete and Gymshark come in and take away market share from larger brands like Nike. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity here, and with opportunity brings saturation, because more and more people are getting into the space because they want to be able to create or extract economic opportunity. There's nothing wrong for that, but that makes it a lot tougher to get into the business than it did 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago and establish a loyal customer base. So this is one of the main challenges, is breaking through into the industry, especially in a environment where there's a low cost of entry, especially in something like sportswear. So how do you distinguish yourself? I highly recommend attacking a niche. Even within the sportswear industry, there are many different types of niches. There is the powerlifting niche, there's the hiking niche, there is the snow sports niche, there is the yoga niche. So you can essentially get into these niches, and you can even go into the sub niches of these brands. You can go into the yoga niche that is a yoga niche that is focused on recycled materials and sustainable products. You can go into the hiking niche that's based on the adrenaline, the kind of the fast-paced, the high-intensity niche. So you need to identify your target market and have a clear messaging. Messaging when it comes to sportswear and just in general fashion is key. Who are you? What do you stand for? What is the ethos of your business? If people can accurately identify that, they can buy into your brand a lot more. You're selling them based on brand. You're not only selling them based on product. Yes, you need to be able to effectively distribute your product, but at the same time, if people don't know about it and they have no reason to love the brand, then why would they buy from you? You're not even going to get the opportunity to show them that your product is worth buying, because they can't feel the product and they can't try it on. They need to go based off of your communication and your messaging. So distinguishing yourself in this space is key. We recommend providing content as well as your key digital strategies. Yes, you can run your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads. However, if you're not creating content that can depthen your brand, we recommend podcasts, blog posts, videos on YouTube. All of these things can help depthen your brand and provide value so that it shows that you have a true passion for what you're doing and this is not just a cash grab. Distinguishing yourself is one of the key problems or key things that you're going to need to tackle in the market. And when you give people the opportunity to buy into your brand and you retain them, a great product based on a good value item, so not just only operating based on price, but operating based on value, right? What am I offering people? How am I distinguishing myself? Is my product good? Having a good customer service experience, potentially having an online chat feature where people can get instant feedback or instant information on key questions they may have, a clear FAQ page, a good checkout process, a seamless checkout process with a wide variety of payment options, a good return policy if necessary, and just very favorable customer experience points. You don't want the customer to feel like they're being taken advantage of, and once you've taken their money, that you no longer care about them. And after-sales service is just as important as the pre-sales service. Do bear in mind that these are people who talk, and you want to retain their business, and you want them to speak in a positive fashion to people about your brand, right? We typically, or with the prevalence of the internet, we often forget that good word of mouth is also still one of the key ways that people can hear positively about your brand, and it goes a lot more of a more effective route than just advertising digitally to people. People are going to trust people that they can rely on, people that they're familiar with, versus just seeing a digital post on Facebook. So bear in mind that a good after-sales experience is key. Make sure to communicate with your customers, let them know when things are being shipped out, how long they should take, provide the relevant tracking info, and just make sure that your customers are happy. It's not a bad idea to follow up with them once they've received the product and be able to offer them something in return for a positive review or a way to spread the word out there. It's a fire in the sense that it's like a bushfire. The more spark or flames you can get going with your customer, the more dividends it's going to pay down the road. Once you tear into the market, you're going to have a better and better opportunity to build and grow your business moving forward, offering more styles, better qualities, so on and so forth. So the hardest thing is, like with a plane, is taking off. It's that initial takeoff. Number 3 is your delivery costs. As is the challenge with any online business, how do you get your products to your customers? You're a digital company operating in a digital space. There's no way for your customers to come into a physical store and pick up. You need to ship it to them. And we do business internationally, so how do we get our products internationally? You need to be able to partner up with a courier. A courier can range from things like USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL, Aramex, depending on what region of the world you're in. You need to meet with these couriers, meet with several different couriers at the same time, give them a study of the projection of sales that you're expecting, the amount of quantities, the different types of launches that you may be doing. Show them that you're serious, show them that you're going into this in a very professional sense. A courier also wants to ensure that they can grow, or that they're operating with businesses that are going to grow and give them more revenue. At the end of the day, couriers are businesses themselves, and they want to invest the time and effort into brands that they know have a future. Going into your interaction with DHL with a lack of information or just an overall lack of polish is going to work against you when it comes to negotiating. And also, negotiating between different couriers is key. Don't only go with the first offer that you receive. The first offer is never the best offer, despite what they may tell you. You need to negotiate. Have an idea of what the key regions of the world that you're going to be targeting are, and what you would like to get out of your rates. Your rates are going to be one of the biggest costs that you're going to endure that you may not necessarily have already included into your cost of goods sold. You may just think of your cost of goods sold as your raw materials and the labor. However, your delivery costs to your customers are going to be key. When you're starting off, you may want to pass that cost on to the customers. However, you can make it work in a two-pronged approach. You may want to offer customers free shipping over a certain amount because you can amortize that shipping cost over X amount of products versus 1 or 2 products if they're below that threshold. So you're encouraging people to buy over a certain amount. They feel that they got a good deal because they have free shipping. It works in both your favors. So make sure to look at your shipping costs and make sure to factor them into your cost of goods sold because it's going to be a key driver to your business. Number 4 is your return policy. As we know, things sometimes are defective, they don't fit well, or people change their minds. It can be very important as part of your after-sale service to provide the right type of return policy. Yes, that doesn't mean that every single person that wants to return something because they claim it's defective should be entitled to change it. We know that people actually take advantage of this system. You need to be able to balance your return policy in a way that it doesn't damage your business, but at the same time, the people who are honest and actually want to buy into your products and have made an honest mistake or have received a faulty good, because let's face it, that does happen, do have the opportunity to have justice served in the sense that if they have something that's messed up, you'll be able to replace it. Do bear in mind that that return policy, and especially as a young startup brand, can actually cause a lot of financial damage to your bottom line. Let's just say you're making $20 on a hoodie. After you ship out, you're making $15 on a hoodie. A return policy is going to cause you to have to ship that garment back to you and then ship them out a new garment. You're essentially causing an additional $10 in cost, and you may end up being in the red on a return policy. If that adds up or that happens way too often, that can end up putting you in a very financially risky position. So knowing what it costs you to ship out to a customer is going to be key. We also recommend you try to avoid issues in shipping. Sometimes when you have people working with you, it can be mistakes happen in the type of style being shipped. So maybe you ship out the wrong color, the wrong size, the wrong product completely. You want to try to avoid that. One way to avoid that is having your workers or people who are working with you sign on the shipping label. That way you can keep track of who's shipped what to where, and that way that you can take or you can have that person take full responsibility for that type of shipping. So that doesn't mean to make them pay for it, but essentially what it means is it allows you to identify where your problems are coming from and take the necessary measurements or take the necessary measures in order to avoid that moving forward. Hopefully you guys have learned a thing or two from the video. I wanted to share my quick top 4 problems or issues that I see a lot of young startup brands face when they get into the industry. It can be a quite exciting time. However, do bear in mind that yes, with any business, there is a certain degree of risk associated towards setting up an online business. Yes, the cost is less. However, in order to make it, you need to make sure you're providing good communication to your clients. You're providing a good after sales and pre-sales experience, and people who are going to buy from you are going to speak. So make sure that they have something good to speak about. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider smashing a thumbs up. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing if you have not done so already. Thank you guys so much for tuning into FittDesign TV. Until next time, stay awesome.